Hi, welcome to another video on my channel. In this video we'll be looking at how to solve quadratic equations by using the completing the square method. In the previous video I taught you how to complete the squares, right? By taking a quadratic function in this form. So ax squared plus bx plus c, and then using the completing the square method, and transferred it to this form: y equal a x minus h r square plus k. So if you have not seen that video, please go and search for completing the square part 1 and also part 2, and I'll leave the link in the description so that you can find it. But in this video we are going to use the completing the square method to solve quadratic equations. Let me clean this up. So right here I'll go through four basic examples, and I'll do follow-up videos on how to solve more advanced equation problems as it relates to completing the squares. Alright, so solve the following quadratic equation using the completing the squares method. So we're gonna get right into it. So the first equation says, right, let me put the square at the top. X squared plus 6x plus 1 equals 0. And normally when you're asked to solve an equation, an equal sign is always involved, because that is what makes it an equation, the equal sign. If it doesn't have an equation, then it is just an expression. And please look for the word solve, or find the solutions or the roots. If you're going to talk about roots, they're asking about the same thing. Alright, so let's move into this now. So the first thing that you want to do in a case like this is to move your constant, which is the 1, move your constant to the other side of the equation. So let me go ahead and do that. So x squared plus 6x, when I put back the plus 1 equal 0. I leave that space for a reason. And in order to get rid of the plus 1, the positive 1, we subtract 1. And this is what is referred to as a 0 pair. Positive 1 minus 1, that gives you 0. So we call that a 0 pair. And whatever I do to the left hand side, which is the subtract 1 in this case, we have to subtract 1 over this side as well. And if we should rewrite this now, we will have x squared plus 6x, remember this turns to 0, so nothing is left, equal to this minus 1. Alright, so that's the first step. So we move the constant to the other side of the equation. So we just have x terms leave over on the left hand side. Any constant, put it over to the right. Okay, so we're now at the next step. Based on what I taught you in the first video on how to complete the square, you're going to find a number that you're going to add to this side, left hand side. And also you should add that number to the right hand side as well. Same number. So the same number you find to add to the left hand side, same number you're going to add to the right hand side. How do we find that number? You find that number by taking b, dividing b by 2, and whatever you get, for example your answer is a, whatever you get, you square it. That's what we're going to put right here. And please remember, based on the format of this, our b term would be, our b coefficient, b in this case would be 6, because it is ax squared plus bx plus c for the standard form. So the So b is the coefficient for the x, and in this case 6 is beside x, so 6 is the coefficient for x. So we take the 6, divide it by 2, that gives us 3, and then you square the 3. That's what the rule says. 3 squared would be 3 times 3, then that's equal to 9. So 9 is the magical number that goes here, so let us put the 9. So that's how we get the 9. Alright? And what you do whenever you carry out this procedure and add back the number, you form what is called a perfect square trinomial. Alright? So if you have not seen, if you don't know how to factorize this part, please move to previous factorization videos of quadratic functions. But x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now you want to put this left hand side in this form, x minus h square, hr square. You want to put that left hand side in this form. So now that you know that you're going to need your two brackets, and you're going to need the square at the top, and you're going to need an x. But what sign do we put here, or what number comes after the sign? Alright, what you could ask yourself is, what number do I multiply by itself? A times a, that gives you 9, but whenever you add a plus a, it gives you 6, this 6, right? So whenever you multiply those two numbers, you should get, the number should be the same. When you multiply it, you should get 9, and when you add it, you should get 6. Alright, so that's one way of thinking about it. And another way you could do to find this, which is much simpler, take the b term, which is the 6, divide by 2, which is 3. And that's a positive 3, so that goes here. Way more straightforward. So that goes there. So we have it in the form that we want it now. Equal minus 1 plus 9 will give us 8. So we are close to finding our solution now. That will give us 8. But if you should look at this, we need to solve for x, but how can we get to our x? We can't just jump in the bracket and take out the x like that. We have to remove the bracket in a very logical way by removing our 2, the square at the top. To get rid of the square right here, we need to get rid of that little 2 at the top. In order to get rid of this 2 right here, what we have to do is carry out the square root operation. Right, so the square root removes the square, and whatever you do to one side, you have to do it to the other side as well. But whenever you're finding the square root for the other side, it is plus or minus the square root of 8 in this case. Always remember that square root, this is plus or minus. So this square root sign will remove the 2 at the top. So we have x plus 3 equal plus or minus square root of 8. And once you remove the 2, you can remove the bracket. But we need to solve for x. How can we isolate this x? If we minus 3 from this side and minus 3 over this side as well, then these 3's will cancel, right? And we're now left with x on this side. So x equal, and I'm going to put my negative 3 at the front. X equal minus 3 plus or minus square root of 8. We're just going to leave it as square root of 8 for now. Alright, there are ways in which you can dissect this and get more accurate values, but we're not going to trouble this for this video. And if you notice, you'll see that x is equal to minus 3 plus or minus square root of 8. So x in this case has 2 values. So what you're going to do, you're going to split this for the plus and the minus section. So x is equal to minus 3. We're doing the plus part first. Minus 3 plus square root of 8, and we're doing this. We did the addition part first. Now we're gonna look at the minus part. Minus part goes x equal minus 3 minus square root of 8. So if you can see, x actually have two values in this case. So if you get a number like 8, that is not a square number, you can actually leave it as this, unless they ask you to give it to some decimal places. But if you get numbers like 25, right, you would find the square root of that, which is 5. Number like 16, square root, you 4. But sometimes you'll get numbers like this that you cannot find an accurate square root for, compared to the 5 that you would get from 25. Alright, so I have 3 other examples coming up, so please follow the other videos that are coming. So this is the first example. I took a bit of while to explain this because it's the first one. So I'm going to finish up the other 3 examples in the next video. So part 2 of solving quadratic equation with completing the squares.